Reality is a consciousness, therefore, people experience simultaneously on many levels of awareness, some considered dreams and some physical. As far as memory serves, humans have always dreamed, and in some way, we are aware of their dreams, and in some way, were aware of their dreams, if not able to understand them. In prehistoric times, dreams were recorded on cave walls where one might find a prone body with an image above it and a wavy line connecting the two images. Most dreams were linked with the supernatural messages sent from gods or ways to heal the person. Dreaming as reality has always been about healing and the journey of humanity back to its creational source. Every ancient civilization developed some manner in which to record dreams, often recorded as oral tradition to be kept by the record keepers, elders, shaman of that culture. If a message came from God, it was prophecy, holy, and would one day determine to the journey of the people. Atlanteans used dream temples and crystal arranged in a specific matrix to enhance their dreams, thus receiving messages from those of our dreams. Today, many people dream of a place called Atlantis, meaning this reality with their experiences there. They often view themselves in the final days of Atlantis before it allegedly sank into the sea of creation as it is parallel running grid. Our dream time is spent in parallel grids of experience. The fall of Atlantis mirrors our current experience in which we are shown thou through dreams and meditation, the ending of this reality and the beginning of golden age, the alchemy of consciousness through time and illusion, dreams and projected reality. Many people see themselves as priests or priestess storing or hiding information in crystals as Atlantis failed. This information would be found in our current as in electromagnetic energy timeline, in computer technology, communication devices using crystal grids, gemstones, and more. The Aboriginal dream time is that part of the Aboriginal culture which explains the origins and the cultures of the lands and its people. Aborigines have the longest continuous cultural history of any group of people on Earth, dating back by sometimes 65,000 years. Dreamtime is Aboriginal religion and culture. The dream time contains many parts. It is the story of things that have happened, how the universe came to be, and how humans beings were created, and how the creator intended for humans to function within the cosmos. With all others, it speaks of Earth's creation by God and Goddess, some of whom were kind-hearted, while others were cruel. The Australian Aborigines speak of Jiva or Guruvari, a seed power deposited in the earth. In the Aboriginal worldview, every meaningful activity, event, or life process that occurs at a particular place leaves behind a vibrational residue in the earth. As a plant leaves an image of themselves as seeds, the shape of the land, its mountains, rock, riversides, and waterholes, and its unseen vibrations echoes the event that brought that place into creation. Everything in the natural world is a symbolic footprint of the metaphysical beings whose actions created our world. Dreaming of a place, called this potency the dreaming of a place, and this dreaming constitutes the sacredness of the earth. Only in extraordinary states of consciousness can be aware of or attuned to the inner dreaming of the earth. Another famous dream shrine was located in Lough Derg in Donegal, Ireland. It was a cave known as St. Patrick's Purgatory. People would entomb themselves in tiny cells for up to 9 days, waiting for a vision of what was waiting for them in hell. When a person was sick, a priest would interpret the dream and then give advice on healing. In ancient China, the dreamer's soul, Han, was considered to be the guiding factor of dreams. The Han was thought to leave the body and communicate with the land of the dead. The dream temples were created to this end. These temples sometimes served a political purpose through the 16th century. Any high official visiting a city reported to a temple the first night to receive dream guidance for his mission. Judges and government officials were also required to visit dream temples for insight and wisdom. Originally, dreams were thought to be a part of the supernatural world. Ancient Egyptians had great temples which they used for initiations and as dream shrines, as they believed that God showed themselves in dreams. The king's chamber in the Great Pyramid was one such place. The Egyptians believed dreams were based on real events. The recording of dreams in Egypt may be traced back to 2000 BC, where the Egyptians wrote these dreams on papyrus with dream symbols. Egyptians were among the early civilizations to attempt interpretations of their dreams. Egypt was where the process of dream incubation began. When a person was having trouble in their life and wanted help from their God, they would sleep in a temple. When they would wake the next morning, a priest, which was then called a master of the secret things, would be consulted for the interpretation of that night's dream. They believed there were three main types of dreams: those that happens as a result of ritual, dreams that contained warnings, dreams where the gods were demanding of some type of actions. The earliest Greek view of dreams was that the gods physically visited dreamers, entering through a keyhole and existing the same way after the divine messages were delivered. The 5th century BC marks the first known Greek book on dreams, written by Antiphon, an Athenian statesman. During this century, the Greeks developed the belief through contact with other cultures that souls left the sleeping body. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, and Socrates, contemporary, contemporary, wrote on his dreams. His theory was simple. During the day, the soul receives images. During the night, it produces images. Therefore, we dream. Aristotle, Aristotle thought that dreams could be indications of conditions within the body. He did not believe that they were divinely inspired. He hypothesized that the external stimuli were absent during sleep, so dreams are manifestations of profound awareness of internal sensations which are expressed as a dreamy imagery. Galen, a Greek physician born in 129 AD, emphasized the need to observe dreams carefully for clues to healing. He was so trusting of dream messages that he carried out operations on the basis of his dream interpretations. Artemidorus, his contemporary, wrote on the interpretations of dreams, describes that this as the best source we have for the dream interpretation practices of antiquity. His theory is extensive, but within the five books he wrote, he describes two classes of dreams: somnium, which forecasts the futures, and insomnium, which deals with contemporary matters and are affected by the state of body and mind. He stated that the dream interpreter should have information about the dreamer, including images that are natural, lawful, and customary of the dreamer, circumstances at the time of the dream, dreamer's occupation and personality. Healings and incubation. The practice of dream incubation was at least as important to the Greeks as it was among the Mesopotamian and the Egyptians and the Chinese. Dreams also aided in their practice of medicine, sending sick people to particular temples in those places where the gods of the body had their shrines. The ailing Greeks would visit these temples, perform various religious rites, sleeps, and hope to have a dream that assured a return to good health. Night after night, they would sleep, and sometimes this would go on for weeks or even months until they had the right dream. The most famous for dream pilgrimage was the Asclepius at Epidaurus. Asclepius was a Greek healer who was believed to be the son of Apollo. He was linked with the cult that begins the practice of dream incubation. Asclepius visited sleepers, miraculously curing them. A shrine to Asclepius was established at Epidaurus in the 5th century BC. It may still be visited today. There are thoughts to be around 410 Asclepian centuries near Athens, generally been active from the 6th century BC until the 3rd century BC. Prophecies would also be given through dreams to those who slept in dreams, temples, or shrines, almost like initiations of the ancient mystery school teachings. Certain would go to the temple, where they would purify themselves first by making an offering to the sun, to the gods. Sometimes there was an animal sacrifice, such as a ram, its fleece removed and then used as a sleeping mat inside the temple. The magistrates of the city also used the temple to receive answers to difficult questions. Hebrews. Ancient Hebrews believed dreams were connected with God. However, bad dreams were the works of demons. The biblical figure Solomon, or the biblical figure Solomon, Jacob, Nebuchadnezzar, and Joseph were all visited in their dreams by gods or prophets who helped guide their decisions. It was recognized and accepted that the dreams of kings could influence whole nations and the futures of their peoples. The Talmud, which was written between 200 and 500 AD, includes over 200 references to dreams.